It is May 7th and I've got a little bit of a walk until I get to the place I'm going to grab some brunch. I'm currently in Redondo Beach and I'm going to a belated birthday brunch, and I thought that I would record an update. So we ended up finishing my birthday fundraiser, and thanks to all of you, you helped me raise, I think, definitely over $11,000, but I think the final number was like, I don't remember what the final number was. So Sunday, I actually ended up flying out to Nashville. Diversibility is actually in a nonprofit leadership program, and it's part of like a six month program. So the last one was in Atlanta, and they bring together a couple of different cohorts and a couple of different programs that their foundation is doing as well. And what did I do? Monday and Tuesday were pretty full days in the conference. My flight was actually delayed by, I think, about an hour and a half because there was a mechanical error on the plane. So we were all just sitting on the plane. And this time, so the first session in Atlanta was focused on narrative change, so storytelling and your nagging problem. And then this one was focused on principle-based management and customer-first feedback. And at the end of it, we got to do like a 3-minute pitch. And my flight back to LA was a little bit later in the day, so I spent most of the day in Nashville, like wandering around to all the different murals. One thing that I do when I go to a new city, well, I usually do two things. One is, if I can, and this is all like pre-pandemic, because now I think I've just been trying to not overextend my stays in certain places. I'm just like tired. So one thing I used to do was I would look on all trails and see if there was a trail close by that I could do. I think it's making me realize that I didn't bring any workout clothes, so that was not an option. And I also look up like the most Instagrammable places in the city. And not because I want to like post a bunch of things on Instagram, but what it'll do is it'll take you to the most beautiful places in the city. So I only realized this until I got back. I walked about like 6 miles around the city. It was a beautiful day in Nashville. I think this was actually, it must have been like my first time in Nashville in over a decade. I feel like I made one trip one time to travel to Vanderbilt, but I don't know if I made that up. So maybe this was my first time in Nashville. But we got to visit Dolly Parton's bar, and I got to see so much beautiful art. I know I missed a few things, but you can go check out the Instagram post that I have on some of the pieces of art that I took. And when I told any of the other people in the group what I was doing, they were not as excited about that. And I only found out about this when I returned back to the hotel, but the hotel had like a courtesy car that would drive you anywhere that was within a 3-mile radius. So I actually didn't have to walk that much, but I did. And I'm actually kind of glad that I did because the weather was nice, but I was definitely tired when I got back. And Thursday, it's interesting because I've been trying to like scale back on meetings, and I'm just finding that now with like a lot of travel, all of my meetings are getting stacked like back to back on the days that I am in town. So Thursday was literally like back-to-back meetings, starting at 8:30 with a podcast. And I'm in a really cool program for creators called Remarkable Voices. And actually this week is our last session. I can't believe it. And then I went to the awards show for the 10th annual Disability Film Challenge. And I'm really grateful I got to go. This is my first time getting invited. Maybe because I didn't live in LA the other times, but it's organized by Nick Navicki. It was hosted at Sony Pictures. It felt like a family reunion. There were so many incredible people from the disability community there. There are also a ton of people from like execs from like Hollywood and the entertainment industry. And I'm just so proud of Nick and the Disability Film Challenge. And the fun fact is that Diversability actually hosted the New York City participant kickoff back in 2016. And so yeah, so we've kind of been in the sphere. I also got to meet a couple of people from Easter Seal, Southern California. They were the organizers or one of the co-hosts of a keynote talk that I did the last week of April. So it was great to meet them in person. And then Friday, I actually flew to San Francisco for doctor's appointments. And it was a hard day because I'm learning that like all of the, would you call it bureaucracy? Like just like everything about the doctor's office and making doctor's appointments just feels really disempowering to me. And it's actually one of my triggers. So I ended up scheduling my physical, my OBGYN, and I got an appointment with my hand surgeon. And when I got there, I looked at the list and it said that my hand surgeon appointment had been canceled. And I just started crying. Like, and actually this has not been the first time something like this has happened before, but I just feel like so disempowered. I flew into town for this. I called them and he had been pulled into emergency surgery, which happens. And yeah, it was hard, but luckily he went in and said I could be like the last appointment of the day. So I took the 6 a.m. flight in that morning, and my flight out was originally around like 11 p.m. But the appointment finished around 6. I rushed to the airport. I went on standby for the 7 p.m. flight, and I was able to get on and get back to LA a little bit earlier, but I was so exhausted after that day. And I'm grateful I got to see the hand surgeon. Something that's been a little bit difficult is just trying to coordinate between my insurance in NorCal with the fact that I do have access to SoCal. And in LA, they actually have a brachial plexus clinic. So I met with them in December, and I've been trying to get this appointment with the hand surgeon. I caught up with him on the phone on March 3rd. I remember that day because that was the day I met Kamala. And then he's like, I want to see you in person. So I got that appointment now, and he's going to try to coordinate a few things. I'm going to be back in San Francisco starting in June because my tenants are not renewing their lease, and I'm going to see how that goes again. But that was the update. And then yesterday, like I think these next couple of days are going to be a little bit of just catch up all around because it was a lot of travel. And I'm grateful for all these opportunities. but it's just been really intense, and I've been feeling stressed, and I've got a little bit more travel to go, but I'll be here this week. Originally I was going to be at another conference Tuesday and Wednesday, but that is not happening anymore. So that's the update. I'm glad to be back in LA for a week or so. But yeah, I'm just like coordinating all the stuff for the San Francisco apartment and the move out, and just catching up on stuff. I'm hoping, yeah, and it's interesting because every time I travel, I'm like, oh, I want a different, like, I think it'd be fun to have a different, like a change of scenery from where I film these, but I get like caught up in stuff. Anyway, that's all I got.